The Department of Government Efficiency has indicated that it has discovered another example of wasteful government spending. This time, the department claimed that there are about $4.7 trillion in federal payments that are currently untraceable. Where'd they go? Well, apparently this sum was missing a tracking code issued by the Treasury Department, which monitors all federal transactions. DOGE now says the Treasury Department is requiring this code going forward. But this discovery could be the greatest example of government waste or mismanagement. How deep might the fraud and waste go? And can it be stopped? Here to discuss this, Congressman Glenn Grothman, who is a member of 4 House committees, including the Budget Committee and the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. He is also a member of the DOGE Caucus. He represents Wisconsin's 6th Congressional District. Congressman Grothman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be on the show, and I'll tell you that little person I wanted to use really tremendous. I'm fortunate to be there, and a lot of very good points were made.
Any surprise at the waste, mismanagement, and misuse of tax dollars that has been uncovered thus far?
I think the sheer volume, the dollar numbers are a little bit shocking. I think the thing that isn't as shocking, but I'm glad the American people can see it, if you go through a list of things that have been ended or are wasteful, certainly the number of programs that are involved in DEI is shocking. You know, the fact that every agency apparently had to have a small contingent identifying people by race and gender and trying to divide people. Of course, this was kind of a very left-wing plot to set American against American, but Joe Biden and I'm sure Barack Obama have sure done a lot to try to get a contingent like this in every agency.
Now, DOGE has an 18-month life cycle span. It's temporary. It's to go in, identify these areas, and then it's going to be, not only up to the administration, but to Congress to take this into account when you do your budgeting, because this tells you that these federal agencies have a lot of money that, quite frankly, they don't need.
Well, I tell you what I think is going on. We have 2 kind of silos of spending up here, the mandatory spending, the discretionary spending. We vote on the discretionary spending every year. And I think, because almost every one of these programs is the type of thing the Democrats would want to Republicans. I think that the Republican Party does not do enough to make public the arguments over how much we should spend. And they just concede the point that we have to spend as much as we did last year or continue last year's program. And as a result, this stuff just continues forever. But I think it's time to dig in people's heels and say, hey, wait a minute, we found waste in this program. There's going to be less in this program next year. And right now, the way Congress operates, the assumption is always that once a program gets in there, it will always be in there. In the private sector, we forever see retail outlets, restaurants open, can't make it go, but they close. Nothing closes in the federal government. And that's one of the reasons we're so broke. What I should point out, in this year's budget, and every year's budget is about the same in this regard, we are right now we are borrowing about 26% of every dollar spent. So you think about that. You're getting a Social Security check, we're building a new tank, whatever. 26% of that is borrowed. You could never operate your household that way.
Do you think that as this is uncovered, and this is not like it's not new. People have been talking about this. Members of Congress have been talking about this. But now we're seeing the evidence. And I know we're early in this process, just 3 weeks into it. Do you think this could drive a change in the way government allocates its money and the way it budgets? I mean, could this in part be for the last almost 20 years, we've not really gone through the budget process. We've done omnibuses, we've done continuing resolutions. We've not really dug into federal spending.
Well, it means certain committees that are in charge of a lot of spending. I'm thinking in particular the Department of Defense, Ways and Means, anybody dealing with the State Department, which seems to really be wasting money. We have to look at these programs from scratch and go back to zero-based budgeting, in which you have to justify every program that's out there, rather than saying, well, we just continue on at last year's level, it's 5%. No, you can say we're going to zero it out, and you prove to us that this program is doing something worthwhile.
That would be a radical departure from the way government has functioned. There's been a big argument for years over zero-based budgeting. I think this shows that it would be good because you go back to the foundation every year and they have to justify their budgets as opposed to just kind of layering a new amount of taxpayer money on the old money that they had. It's like this automatic increase every year.
Well, it's like they look at the title of a program rather than whether that program is doing it.
Congressman Grothman, I want to thank you for joining us. Always great to see you. I know you guys got a lot of work ahead. There's plenty to look at, plenty to cut, hopefully.
Well, it's important that your listeners call their congressmen and call their senators and tell them they are pleased with the DOGE and keep on going. Because yesterday in office hours, there was a room full of people who felt we were cutting too much.
Yeah.
So it's important for the average guy to speak up.
All right, we'll make sure they get out of the stands and they start cheering for the DOGE caucus as it looks to cut money, unnecessary money from the federal budget. Congressman Grothman, always great to see you. Have a great day.